Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Nikos the Impaler. I don't know if that many of you are familiar with this movie. I wasn't familiar with this movie until like probably last year, and it's been one that I've wanted to check out for a while. So, you know, the main reason why I've been interested in seeing this is because I'm a big sleepaway camp fan. I like all the sleepaway camp movies, and you know, after like I first saw Sleepaway Camp, like I really liked it, and I was just, you know, just like curious, like one thing led to another. I kind of like went down this rabbit hole where like I'm like, oh well, I like Sleepaway Camp. I like Felissa Rose. Like, you know, she's like, a solid actress. Like, I want to see what other stuff she's done. So I just like sought out like all of her movies, and there's quite a few that I really like. Camp Dread is thebomb.com. I have this one, Perfect House. That one's pretty cool. It's a little bit like it's kind of disturbing. Not that I'm not into that when it comes to horror movies, but I got that partially for Felissa Rose, but also Jonathan Tiersten, who plays Ricky in Sleepaway Camp. He's in it and he plays a killer, and his performance is like really good because in Return to Sleepaway Camp, I know people hate that movie. I like understand why. Like, I don't think it's a good movie, but I like that movie actually. But Jonathan Tiersten's performance in that movie is like not very good in my opinion. But in this Perfect House movie, it's awesome. But anyways, I've there's all these like movies. They're called like Caesar and Otto. Felissa Rose in those. Camp Twilight is not bad. I can't think of other movies with her that I've seen, but I just named oh yeah, this one, Bloody Summer Camp. That one is pretty cool. It's a little long. I gotta rewatch that, but that one was cool. So yeah, and then she's in the fourth Hatchet movie, Victor Crowley. She's funny in that, and I named a bunch there. But anyways, I'm a huge Sleepaway Camp fan, which kind of turned me into a big Felissa Rose fan, where she's in all these, horror movies, all these cool horror movies. So I checked them out, and then I got to give a shout out to the one of the main ways that I found out about all her movies besides Sleepaway Camp is this one YouTuber. His name's Morbid Moonlight, and he has this playlist. It's called 31 Days of Felissa Rose, and he pretty much like does almost all of her films in chronological order. That's how I found out about this. I got the DVD right here. I'm just gonna show you all. I mean, look at that cover. That's serious. That's awesome. The killer is like really sick in this. You got the at the back might have some nudity. I don't want to get banned out here. But yeah, there's a little glare on that, but what are you gonna do? You got Felissa Rose, you got Lloyd Kaufman, you got that chick from Romeo and Juliet. I mean, look at Nikos, and then it's kind of like the metal font. I'm not even a metalhead like that, but it's like a pretty sick font. It's like a cool, like I like that red color too. But yeah, so this movie's been on my list, and I'm glad that I checked it out. So something to tell you all right away. This is a shot on video film, so it's like micro budget. It's not it like going in, like if you want to see this movie, you got to know that going into it. I knew that going in, so it didn't bother me. For the most part, it kind of like gives it a cool aesthetic, but one of the problems with that is like the lighting during most of the night scenes is, I don't know if it's the lighting or just like the limitations of the camera itself, but yeah, like the night shots are like really dark, and you can tell it's like just it's not it's you can tell it's shot on video. Like it yeah, the night shots do not look that great, but that's like the thing is, like I had a decent time with this movie. I had a good time. It wasn't like there wasn't that much story, and it is, you know, a micro budget shot on video film, so it's like it didn't it didn't blow me away, but for what it was, I had a good time with it. And the main thing some of the main things that I really liked, I thought the killer was super cool and unique. His backstory was cool. I'll get into that in a second. And the kills, oh my goodness, were so good. Like the fact that like the kills made up for all the limitations. Like I would recommend watching this just for the kills, because it is like so gory, and it's like it's all practical effects. Like it's just there's like blood splattering everywhere. It's just it's awesome. Like in terms of like, you know, what you want from a slasher movie, it delivers. And you got some, I mean, if you're talking about slasher elements, there is some nudity going on as well in like one scene. So I mean, you know, that's a par for the course. That's, you know, expected. So you know, it checks all the boxes. You know, but yeah, the killer's super unique. He's this like Romanian barbarian who gets resurrected. Which, I mean, I haven't heard of that in another movie. It's cool. Like the beginning, you kind of see him like, you know, when he was actually living before he got resurrected. I think it was like 1000 AD or something like that. And then he gets like his stomach stabbed and all his like guts are spun out, and he like bites his own intestine. It was like gnarly. But then there's this guy, he's like trying to rob this museum because all these students are on like an extra credit little field trip type deal. And there's this one teacher, Felissa Rose is also a teacher, and they have kind of like a little romance thing going on. But basically they're at this museum. This guy is trying to rob the place. He shoots the security guard shoots him back. Blood gets on like Nikos's helmet, because it's just like in back stock of the museum, and that resurrects him. But yeah, like it was just, he was just super unique. Like the whole costume where he's got this whole, all this like plate armor, this like basically like knight armor. He was just killing fools like with like a big sword. The armor was cool. He had this crazy like long hair, and then when he would take his mask off, he just had like a gnarly messed up face. That was sick. Like I said, the whole backstory and how he got resurrected was cool. He's like kind of supernatural, and he's this like historical figure, but he wasn't like as mainstream as Vlad the Impaler. And they kind of like talk about that in their class, and they kind of talk about his backstory. So unique killer, cool weapon, cool backstory. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I kind of talked about how good the kills were. Some standout kills were like, and for pretty much like the first half of the movie, you know, they're like setting up stuff, and then he's just picking people off in the museum, but then he like lets loose, and this movie's set in New York, and you know, you actually see the New York setting. That's something I was thinking, like they got like a lot of shots of like, you know, New York, and like if it was like a big budget movie, they would have had to get permits and blah blah blah. And I'm like, how'd they get away with this? Like they're just like filming on the street, you know. They're filming buildings. Some of it looked like some aerial shots, and I'm pretty sure this was like pre-drone, so I don't know how they, like, did they get like a little helicopter action? I don't know. But yeah, like all the stuff in New York, they must have just like filmed it guerrilla style. But all the stuff in New York was really cool. The stuff in the museum was cool, but I like when he actually went to New York because he would just bounce around to different settings and like kill people there in creative ways. Like he killed a bunch of people in a movie theater, he killed people in a video store, a gym, a bar, and I like that kind of like change of setting. Cause you know, I'm like ADHD. I'm like they've been in the same place for too long. This can't hold my attention. I'm just kidding, but I do like a little like variety of backdrops, and then I mean those are cool settings. You got a movie theater, gym, I mean a video store. Come on, I mean who doesn't like video stores rule, movie theaters rule. I mean if you're watching the movie, you're already a movie fan, so it's like you're like heck yeah. But yeah, some of the kills, the standout kills were in the gym. He gets like a 45-pound weight plate, slams it on this guy's chest. There's this chick who's like taking a shower, and it's like really drawn out. It's pretty much, I was like, what am I watching, like a porn or something? I wasn't complaining, but it was like really like a long drawn out nude scene. But he like, yo, he rips her breast off. I was not expecting that. I'm like, what? Like he was just like, and then he ripped her face off. He's like, even early in the movie, he's like ripping people's faces off. Like the practical effects, they look so good too. Like it was no CGI. There was a little bit of CGI, but like not really with the kills. And I mean, for this low budget of the movie, even though the CGI didn't look realistic, it was still impressive. It's like, oh, they had some CGI in this like no budget movie. That's sick. So yeah, when he like killed that girl in the shower, that was gnarly. And then at one point he like ripped this dude's heart out, and you see all like the little, I don't know, like it's like the pieces, what would you call it, tendons or veins? I don't really know if they were, but everything in this, it's like, and then there's this one point where he like slashed this guy's stomach, and yeah, you see all like the little stringy things. Like it was like kind of gross, but it was like effective. I'm like, oh snap, like it just like it looked good. Like it was just, I mean, solid practical effects, which I'm always a huge fan of, especially in slasher movies. And then just jumping around here to another point, you know, Felissa Rose was a main character. Like I said, that's the reason why I sought this movie out. She did great. I liked her character. I liked her like love interest. That guy was cool too. But you had a couple cameos here. You had Lloyd Kaufman, who's like the co-founder of Trauma. I'm a big Trauma fan, so it was cool to see him. He had like a funny little scene in the video store. And then he's with the girl from Romeo and Juliet, the girl who had like all the piercings in that movie. So I like her. I've seen her in like a couple like documentaries, like low budget B movie documentaries. I think she was in this one I watched called Scream Queens. I think it was, yeah, it was like a Brink Stevens one, I think. But yeah, that girl I like. It was cool seeing her. Cool seeing Lloyd Kaufman. Nice little cameos. They had like a funny little scene. I already talked about the New York setting being cool. The last couple things I want to talk about are just like a couple things that I disliked. I already talked about the night scenes not being lit well, but another thing is like I feel like this movie was like a little bit too long. You know, it's like slasher movies usually tend to run pretty darn short. From what I've seen, like a lot of slasher movies are like, you know, usually 90 minutes, but there's quite a few that are like an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 15. I think like Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 are like an hour and 15 or 20 minutes. Like a lot of 80s slasher movies are like, you know, an hour and 15, an hour 20, an hour 30 tops. This was an hour and 40, which is fine for some movies, but like there wasn't enough going on. Like there was a little story going on, and I liked the characters enough, but it was like the stuff in between the kills. Like this is gonna make it sound like I'm like a simpleton. Like, oh, I just more action. I need explosion. I need decapitation. What are they talking? This is boring. Like I like movies like dramas that are all dialogue, but this doesn't have like that great of character. So it's like I'm here for the kills. I'm here for the action, and the stuff in between, it was like, it was cool, like the story was cool, but it was like a little bit too drawn out. Like I feel like they could have like cut this at a quicker pace. This could have been like an hour and 20 minutes, and that would have made it a little bit better. Like between a lot of like the stuff that I really liked, there some of the scenes just went on way too long, and I'm like, all right, get on with it. Like when is Nikos gonna come back? Like when he was on screen, I was on board, but like sometimes like some of the dialogue scenes were just too drawn out, and I just like didn't care about the characters enough where like I'm like, all right, come on, let's get Nikos back in here. Come on, like I don't care about these fools. I want to see their head get chopped off. When fools' heads will get chopped off in this movie, like I don't know how many head choppings, I don't know how many decapitations there were, but like there was just, it was just like a spray going on. It was like a hose. Like this, I mean, the splatter, the gore was so good in this movie. But here's the deal. I pretty much talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. Like I said, overall, I had a decent time with this. It wasn't the greatest story. It was, there was a lot of limitations. It's like a micro budget shot on video film. But for what it was, I had a fun time. It definitely delivered on the kills. It delivered on the gore. The killer was super cool. So, if you're a fan of Felissa Rose, if you're a fan of Sleepaway Camp, I would recommend it. She doesn't have that much to do, but it's cool seeing her, and it's just kind of a cool, unique movie. I picked it up because I had an eBay gift card. I had like a bunch of eBay gift cards, and I'm like, man, I'm just gonna cash out, get like movies that I've wanted to get that like are harder to get. I got it for like $20. That's like pretty much my limit. Like I usually don't spend that much on movies, like, but if it's like a rare one, okay. And like I had the gift card, so it's like kind of like for free anyways. But I wouldn't recommend spending more than 20. But I mean, if you're like I said, if you're a Felissa Rose fan and you could get it for 20 or less, pick it up. Just a warning, it is, a micro budget shot on video film, so like the quality, like the filmmakers went hard. You can tell like they love the genre, and that, I mean, it's the hardest thing ever to make a movie. So, they really went hard. But I mean, just as a viewer, like it's not like you're watching like a multi-million-dollar studio film. So I would recommend it, but you got to know the limitations going in. It's not the same as, a big budget studio film. It's kind of like a DIY type thing, but it's really cool, and I think it's really well made, well done. They put a lot of love into it, put a lot of effort. So yeah, check it out if you can find it. This thing, you can barely find it. I don't even know how I found it. I don't know. Shouts out to eBay. But anyways, that's my review. I'm gonna end it there. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.